the thing about old people is that they be sagging, right? So over 100 applications rejected. Only 11 students made the cut. Imagine art school, but crammed into 10 weeks. With students fighting deadlines, reinventing their portfolios, and pushing the boundaries of design. Welcome to my character design mentorship. Today I'll show you how 2 of my past students took rough sketches and turned them into final portfolio projects. But wait, now it's your turn. My character design mentorship is officially accepting applicants for the fall term. If you want weekly feedback, direct guidance from me, and critiques, then apply for the feedback tier. Or if you'd rather attend all the classes, watch all the demos, lectures, and critiques while working at your own pace, then join the spectator tier. Spots are limited and they fill up really quickly. So if you've been waiting for a chance to level up your portfolio, then this is it. This is the chance. The links to sign up are down below. Now let's dive into the works of my 2 students, starting with their story ideas. And yes, I moved. My background is different, but my new office, minus this one corner, is a mess full of boxes. So maybe in my next video, you'll be able to see my new space. All right, on with the story ideas.
Marcos and Jaime run after their friend and come across a lone rock golem. How did he get here? Where is he from? And how do we get him home? So in search of answers, they head to their village elder, who is knowledgeable in the living, the mythical, and stories of the past.
And they play a game that accidentally summons a demon. And it's this tiny, cute little demon who's very chaotic. But she's not evil. She just wants to have fun. That turns Noah, the main character, into a half demon. And there's a bounty hunter as well who wants to kill the demons.
These are very fun. And I love that you have a few mock lineups. I love to see it. I think that your characters, your main boy, I think any of them could really work. I really like all of your ideas for your elders. And I think the elder depends on which other characters you choose. If you choose this frog, I think this elder's body is a little too similar, and then you choose a different one. And then I like the idea that it's 2 frogs versus 1. You could even combine kind of this idea where it's if this one's like that, you could also have his son, who's also a little sumo ninja character on top of him, and you can kind of marry the ideas, right? I think that in your next step, it would be to kind of turn them a little bit so we see that volume, and maybe in the pose where his hands are out in a more clear way and he's standing more intimidating and stuff, or how exactly the rock, in a way that we can tell that it's a rock, which is a little bit difficult. I recommend looking up The Thing, or the comic book with The Thing, trying to see how you can render this rock by keeping it simple and not having to focus on rendering. Trying to suggest anatomy, which I see you did here, and how these bits and bobs connect inside. I don't know, maybe putting twigs to wrap it around or something like that, to add a little bit of interest where the feet are, and to also be it so he could step and move his pieces, because rocks wouldn't move. It'd be really hard for him to walk. I think that a lot of your designs are really cute. If he's this big scary guy, how can you make him even bigger and scarier? Maybe his arms would be huge. Maybe instead of smiling, there's this scary element. This reference is really cool, where his eyes are just hidden in the darkness of his face. Sometimes making heads smaller can make them look even more adult and spooky. This head is here, but if you bring the head down, what would that look like? That would look, and what if you brought the back up? So just keep going with your demon design and pushing those shapes even further, trying to find the muscles underneath, because what makes a man scary is muscles. Right? So finding those shoulders and then having those rib cages stick out would be a cool effect. I would push the anatomy a little bit more. She should look so out of place in this dress. She's got a doll dress on, and it's really ruffly, and it's really out of place. And then she's got these maybe she's got this cute head, but she's got these nasty demon goat legs with I don't know, nasty feet that they have to keep trying to put shoes on her because she looks so much like a demon. And then I like that he's holding this, but how can we like not mirror it, right, in your poses, making the silhouette of his hair even bigger, changing the acting, but like push and pull his silhouette a little bit more. Maybe his pants are really drawn up really high, pushing that silhouette of these locks like even further out where his head is even smaller in. You know, I think that there's a lot you can do with these characters. Only a few of these really show us that she's a bounty hunter. I like how like athletic her hair looks here. Like this one doesn't really scream bounty hunter to me. Find those elements in her costume and her face and her personality that really like showcase it stronger, and then finding ways to push her body a little bit more. What prop would she have? I don't know, maybe she'd have a shotgun over her shoulder or something like that. So I want to see like more rounds of exploration of this character, like in the lineup, like show a couple of lineups with like a few slight pushed ideas, like really narrow in on the shapes that you want, the type of characters that you want. It's like hard for him, his body to like keep together, right? Because he's like a rock and made of leaves and vines and stuff like that. I think it would be cool to kind of show it further where like the vines are holding his arms and his arm is like sagging lower. Like it's not necessarily the perfect anatomy of him being symmetrical. So I think you can kind of have it like that, and that even showing that like these vines like are breaking a little bit like that. I think this character is so fun and funny. I think that finding a little bit about the environment and how it affects his clothes, like is he kind of like a troll bridge kind of character? He's kind of like a sumo character, so how can you combine both him living in the forest, forging his own clothes probably, like what is about the culture of the village that he lives in that these clothes like work? Does his wife make his clothes from under the bridge? So are they using like twigs to close these together? Finding a little bit of the backstory of where he's from to indicate more story of his outfit, I think would be helpful. This is what we do in production when you do colors. You take an existing background and then you blur it, and then you see, okay, well, how are these characters going to fit? Will these characters stand out in this environment? Will they blend in? Like, what story I want to tell? Sometimes like a rim light can make a good design look very cool and stuff. This is really fun. Oh yeah, owl moth, very creepy, very cool. You really want to make it clear how these bits move, and especially around the elbow, like I would like have a different plane like showing on the elbows. Even like these hands are like very claw-like. I see you have these like very delicate hands, so maybe that's the direction you want to go into, but maybe you can take some inspiration from it and find a little bit more detail in the tips of it. Make those knees even weirder, like really like emphasize that even more. Like maybe you want one to, like he seems like he's loud and dramatic. It's believable that his feet can carry the weight of his huge body. I like this character a lot. I think you found some like really fun shapes and a really cool like personality to go with her. I would like make her legs longer. Sometimes bringing that will help that illusion. So that's kind of what I suggest. Because you're doing line art like this, I would find like that really intentional, like big, small shapes to make this hair work. And then I try to find a more asymmetrical, like one side's bigger than the other.
By the way, if you want to see even more behind the scenes of this mentorship, I've uploaded a more raw 1-hour version of these reviews on my Patreon. It goes way deeper into the feedback process, so if you want to learn even more, the link is below. And speaking of building stronger portfolios, once you've got the work, you want to show it off. I host mine through today's sponsor. You know I use Squarespace for my portfolio and shop website. I've been using it for years and I've never been disappointed. It's so easy to customize with so many templates to choose from, and it always looks professional, and I don't have to know anything about tech or coding to make it work. I also host my shop here where I can manage everything from inventory to sales. It's super simple and my customers get to use any payment they want, like Klarna, Apple Pay, Afterpay, PayPal, etc., etc., etc. I'm a big fan of having a clear and simple website. So why not go ahead and make your own website with a free trial? And when you're ready, you can use my code JackieDrushko for 10% off your domain or website. Thanks Squarespace for sponsoring the video. Now let's get back to painting.
I was looking at this character. This character has so much more to her in terms of like storytelling with bows, and her hair is being defined with like ivy and stuff hanging out. I think that's really neat. And like even like the ivy spikes like kind of look like horns. You know, I love him. I think he's really cool. I think that he's flattened out a little bit. So I think by bringing his head out, like, you know, he's hunched over, his neck is forward. I think that you could showcase that better by bringing his head out. And then the last thing is now we're going to the point that we have to find some of these center lines and some of these parts that like how all these things connect. So if this is a center line, because this is hip, this is the other hip, and then maybe to add a little bit of volume, we should have his head slightly more 3/4, because right now it's kind of looking like flat, but his head is like a sphere, right? We have to really consider like what all these parts look like. How is his head rotated exactly? How does this nose connect? The next stage I think would be trying to like get these volumes to work, increasing the perspective or whatever. I would like bring that shoulder out so then like there's space for this to exist and connect. I would find a little bit more detail in, because he's really big, like these characters have these little itty bitty details because they're so small, but this character, because he's so big, now there's no more details because same level, like I said earlier, the same level of details now looks very like not enough details. So I would even find another layer where you would split up these furs a little bit and find smaller furs. I think that now you're at the point of keeping your volumes very consistent. Like for example, this pant, look how much bigger it is than this pant, right? You want your sizes to be the same throughout, like your calves are pretty accurate. I think that would be like a nice compromise to show like this chunky shape coming into his design a little bit more. The bottom of this foot is a lot smaller than this bottom of this foot. This shoe would be like a little bit bigger. Little details like that. The thing about old people is that they be sagging. It's all about wrinkles and fats and like things flopping over each other in the right position. So like her jowls, for example, are connected to like the flaps over their mouths. Even the fat under their eye like connects to this like wrinkles. What's the context of this, right? Like, is she cleaning the ceilings, or is she like amazed of something? If she's amazed of something, like how often does she become amazed because she's seen it all, or she's been living in the forest, she's unimpressed by everything? Would it be like, oh my god, in all of my years I can't believe I've seen something new, and her eyes are like wide open? It's about finding those story moments and the motivation in the acting. He's a rock collector, and like he sees that rock and he's like, oh my god, I've never seen a rock like that. That's like really funny. If he's trying to pull this rock, for example, like I want to see like him like trying to like yank this rock and his foot being out, and he's like using all of his weight, and the ground is like showing the dirt and all the indent that he made of his feet trying to like push, like yank this rock out there. It's about like trying to see how scary some of these could be. I think you could like ruffle up a lot of these feathers, the most angry snarl that he has, and show that here. You can like add the hands of like what makes him excited, or this pose interesting, like add those shoulders in. Like, is he like reaching over, is he grabbing somebody by the throat, like a minion of some sort? This is really cool. I think that we can push some of these angles. Like, I'm imagining like what this would look like in a TV show. Like all this stuff is circling around him, the lighting is going crazy, all his friends are like freaking off to the side. Then I'm thinking this would be more of an upwards angle. You could even have like these lines coming with the papers and the dust going around him, really showcasing that. Or like if you have that pentagram below him and that's what's making him like starting to like float up, and then you can play with your black and white like shadow and lighting for this pose. Like this could be that exciting pose that gets a little bit more rendering. And he's so engaged in his drawing. Like, how do kids look like when they're engaged with their drawing? They're laying down, they're like tucking their knee in, their butt is sticking out, right? Is he drawing like a little aimlessly and he's just like really focused, like maybe his hands on his head? Is he like more in a more serious way where his back arm is like that and then his arm is like coming in like this? I think that there's like a way that you can really make him look even more engaged. Like, how fast is he going? How excited is he? Like, if he's really excited, like his mouth would be like huge. They're running with their arms first and their head, like that's what's coming first, and then behind is like his body like catching up a little bit more. If the rock was right overhead and he was like staring at it like that, having it look straight up is, I think, a kind of more comedic tone, and it kind of makes him look like he's not looking in front of him. And then I would show a little bit of the inside of the mouth just so it doesn't look so flat, a little bit of the backside of the eye. Are they both as obsessed as rocks? Is he, the little guy, more like chill about rocks and he's like, why are you so obsessed, right? Like, have both of their reactions to this rock be like very clear. Are they on the same team or are they always conflicting? I think that if he's like trying to hide him, his hands are like out, nervous in the way he's doing it. Or maybe he's holding the second leaf, like he grabbed 2 leaves from over here and he's like, here, take this leaf, it'll hide you. And then he's got this other leaf and it's like flopping over him. I think it's cool that you have like the 3 and it's in perspective, but I feel like the perspective is a little bit off. This isn't the focus. These kids aren't the focus, right? Then you can show like this coil, and you could show it get smaller, and then you could show it get bigger. I think that would be a lot more dynamic to show her doing something that scares him or that stresses him out and that he's anxious. I kind of want another pose like that where he's like more anxious and you see like how terrorizing she is. And then I want to like consider like, how is this a sweet moment, right? Her head is tilted like this, the top of her head, and his head is tilted like that. Maybe one eye is open, one eye is looking at her. Maybe he's got a hand on top of her head, right? They're listening to music. It's all about that overall shape and the composition. And where are they exactly? Like, are they in his bed sitting, or are they in this closet in the janitor's closet because that's where they have to keep her? I want it to really be at that angle where he's really trying to overpower her. He's trying to get something done, right? He's leaning forward. He's trying to get this hat onto her. He's desperate. And she is like, if this hat touches me, I'll die. Would it be more engaging, almost like side view? You see a little bit of his back and he's like, please, I need to get this hat onto you. And then we see her like front. Then you have this like really something like that. Like, that could be a really dynamic and interesting composition. Like, things to consider of how you can push and pull this perspective. I would just straight up do this page as your home page. You want to give as few clicks as possible to whoever's looking at your portfolio. If someone's good at their job and they know what they want, they look at that first page and they already know if this is something that they're interested in exploring further, or if they're like, oh, I've seen enough. I think your lineup looks good. You could showcase like the demon here, and then your main character, and then it says scale, and then it goes slash. Then you have all these other characters and they're much bigger on the page. This is dramatic. So I like that you have the perspective grid, but consider it like, how would you do it in production? Like, maybe is this in the janitor's closet? Maybe there's like the linoleum and you show a few like bricks here and there and it's into the perspective. You kind of showcase the ground a little bit. You have the floorboards, you have some of the props around. After you detail this and you blow it up, this would be a really cool moment to color, and it's almost like a viz dev moment at that point if you color the background a little bit and you give the tone of the room. Like, that's even a cool like concept for your splash page. I think having personal art on the side I think is like fine. Like, I'm not going to tell you to get rid of it, but there's some things that I think are quite inventive that we don't see in your portfolio. Like, animal creature stuff. Like this character, I feel like has a lot of personality. I kind of want you to make a page of that and like expand on it, because you have like these one-off lineups. You gotta do more with it. Like this is a really cool like concept with these 3 characters. Like I want you to add another character of like the pet character and then the villain captain and stuff like that. And then after that, make like 2 concept pages, and then you have a 3-page kind of sub project. Because some of these seem like very individual projects, it's not giving me enough. You could have like 4 mini portfolio projects, you know, to like expand your project, and then you could choose a couple of them to like push even further, because like I think this is really cute. Like what does that look like when you expand it and you show their relationships and their band and stuff like that. It's been a pleasure having you in the class and seeing your work like improve and your volumes and your perspective really be pushed. Like I feel like the flatness of your characters have really become less flat.
Thank you for all your feedback, Jackie. It's been really, really helpful.
I love the font you're using. These are very fun. Oh, this is so cute. I like that. I think that she is so slay. I think this character like works a lot better. I feel like the colors are a lot more clearer. Then we have some of these concepts, and then we see that that was the original concept. I kind of feel like you could put some more stuff on it. I feel like this page is a little bit bare bones. I don't know if you have more concept designs, or you can make some more to add more in, because like I think that her design is really cool and her concept's cool. Even with like this old lady, like it also feels bare bones. Fill it up with more concepts, especially because she's right next to the front view. It's got to be very clear that it's that same front view. And here, like her head looks a little bit higher, even though her heel is lower. So like she's longer here, so she's not quite on the same model that she is there. This is very like pushed. Like the way that she's interacting with her hat, there's so much more storytelling. I think that's really good. You know, even to emphasize the rocks more, like you could have like little graphics to like showcase these funny little moments, especially because they're the comedic relief. Like you could lean into these anime like graphic. I like that we have like these characters interacting with each other. It's like clear. You could expand on this story like so much more. This is their clique, but where is the antagonist? Is this one a new kid that's trying to get in there? Are they bullying the one character or something like that? Like you could show some of the tension in these poses. You could show more concepts, because I think that concept is one of your strongest suits. Like these shapes and these ideas are so strong, but we only have 2 pages. So show me concepts of this, of how you came to this. Show me another project where you're like really doing something different. You have animal stuff, you have like rock stuff, it's kind of magical and mythical, and then you have a girl gang. Like what's another project that fills in the void of your capabilities that you haven't shown, but that you can show? It's very good work. Lots of improvement.
It was really crazy, like looking back at the first week, because I can see like how much I've improved within just the 10 weeks. Just the drawing skills in general.
And that's 10 weeks wrapped up in a clean bow for you. And this is just a glimpse of what my character design mentorship looks like. The next term runs from October 12th to December 14th, 2025. It's 10 weeks of live classes held every Sunday, packed with demos, critiques, assignments, and lots of growth. Now, the feedback tier, which is only limited to 12 students, fill up very quickly. So if you're aiming to get direct feedback, apply now. But here's the thing, even if you don't get into the feedback tier, the spectator tier is an incredible option. You still get access to all the classes, demos, critiques, and assignments, plus our community Discord and the TA support. You'll be in the classroom with everyone else, but you just don't get the direct feedback from me. It's also capped at 50 students, so it's still a small, focused group, and once it's full, it's done. So if you're serious about building a stronger portfolio and you want to learn alongside a group of motivated artists, then don't wait. Spots are limited, and I'd love to see you in my mentorship this time around. Okay, I'll see you in class this fall. Bye!